Greetings, Empire Builders. Welcome to our Empire Builder Show, where the prominent company founders and CEOs share their top secrets of building sustainable businesses that create global impact. Brick by brick, in every single episode, we are going to unveil the fundamentals of building an empire. I'm your host, Valerie Prasetyo. If you're watching our show from the very first episodes, you probably know that we covered some fundamentals so far. It's really realizing who you truly are and what you really want, and discovering some tools how to do that, as well as how to dive into magical power of self motivation, time and energy management. And today we are going to talk about very important element that can help you to build your empire from scratch, that can help you to achieve what you really want, achieve any goal, make some dreams come true. But if it's not growing on the other side, it can destroy the whole life. We're going to talk about the mindset of empire builder, how from scratch you can reach real financial freedom. And I'm very blessed and happy that we have a special guest today. And let me introduce her. It's Linda Attram. For the past 20 years, Linda Attram has been running successful property businesses, including a multi-million pound property portfolio, and is the founder of Mothers in Business. She's happily married, a proud mother of 3 precious diamonds, and a first dan black belt in the martial art of Taekwondo. Linda incorporates the tenets of Taekwondo: courtesy, integrity, perseverance, self-control, and in training and in her personal and business life. She was born in the UK of Caribbean heritage. Linda came from humble beginnings, a very shy girl who lacked confidence, self-esteem, and identity. She left school with very little education, but with a burning desire to change. She chose to re-educate herself to university degree level, which led to a successful 18-year career in human resources management. Linda is a devoted mother, meticulous businesswoman, author, and a public speaker. She understands the challenges entrepreneurial mothers face, and that is why she created Mothers in Business. Linda's mission is to inspire and empower women globally to be more and achieve more. Last year, Linda was honored with the prestigious Global Woman Exceptional Award and currently is one of the directors of Global Women Clubs. Welcome, Linda, to our virtual studio.
Hello, Valerie. Hi. I'm really excited to be on your show today. Thank you for the invitation and the opportunity.
Well, thank you very much for your time. I'm very, very happy that you are here and going to share with us your wisdom and your knowledge. I would say that your story is absolutely amazing and inspiring, of how dreams can come true, because nowadays you're running your own business, you have a precious family, you're inspiring lots of people. And I think that biggest part of it is actually a mindset. Maybe you can share with us what kind of tools helped you to develop yourself, like from this shy Linda with humble beginnings to a Linda powerhouse who is running a multi-million pound empire.
Thank you for a great question. So yes, I have come from very humble beginnings, and my journey to success has not been an easy one. And it's not even a journey to success. I'm still on a journey. We're always continuing to grow, whether that be in our mindset or within our business. And so what's really helped me on my journey is being able to surround myself with like-minded people, but also investing in my education. I grew up thinking that when you go to school, you get educated and then you go into the work environment and that's it. I never realized that your education still continues. You can still continue to invest in your education. And when I came to that realization, that's when I started to really invest in myself. And there's been lots of programs over the years that I've been on that's helped me master my mind, because my mindset was that I was, whatever I had, that was enough. I should be grateful for what I have and not really pursue anything above the level that I set myself for. I would play small quite a lot, thinking that, success was only for the rich and famous. It wasn't for people like me. And so when I started surrounding myself with people that inspired me and started to follow them and started to invest in my education, my personal growth education, a lot of these works were around my mindset, and realizing that I was a much bigger person than that I was, that I made out to myself to be. Because like many people, we all have these little voices in our heads that have these limitations. And I was quite comfortable living in these periods of limitations, because stepping out of my comfort zone was very scary. I didn't want to, make mistakes. I wanted everything to be perfect. And I had this own sort of self-judgment of myself. If I start to step out of my comfort zone and become uncomfortable, people would start to judge me for making mistakes. But then I realized that I have to make those mistakes, because those mistakes are the things that are going to help me to grow. Does that answer the question?
Yeah, I mean, there's a lot of things, right? Because one side you said gratitude is like, of course, it's undoubtable. It's like one of the keys of growth, and it's important to develop this really authentic feeling of gratitude for whatever you have, showing, let's say, the universe, even from the spiritual part, that I'm grateful what I have, so I'm ready for something bigger. But if the mindset set on the wrong way, let's say, it means for more people, okay, I'm settling down. It meaning that that's pretty much all. There is no other way I can grow or get. I don't need this. So it's very important to understand that, and not mix these things, and not set gratitude as a limitation that you cannot achieve something more. This is like a huge thing. So developing this authentic gratitude, but at the same time, never allowing yourself to settle down or whatever you are doing. And another part is also, you mentioned so many things about making mistakes. It's okay, and it's part of the learning process. So it's beautiful. Thank you very much. I think lots of viewers who are basically watching us now, I hope you will start really analyzing or watching on whatever you are doing from this perspective, that every single step is just the step to learn and grow. And talking about the growth, what, like, being self-employed is not the same as being an investor or being a person who is running a business, like not working in the business, but working on business. So what, in your opinion, a set of skills that any empire builder should nail?
Thank you. Another great question. So there are many skills that an empire builder should have. One very important one is about having the ability to build rapport. Because I remember when I first started in my own business, I came originally from the corporate world, and being a mother at the same time, I wanted to have that flexibility to be able to work from home, but also have something that I could call my own, something that I'd be proud of, and something that my family would be proud of as well. And I remember in the early stages of that transition, I would try and do everything myself, because I felt that I had to prove it to myself that I was worthy of creating this business. So I didn't need any help. And I just was going out there doing everything on my own, which obviously led to overwhelm. It led to me, being completely exhausted, spending far too much time on my business, and neglecting my family for short periods of time. So knowing that it's okay to get support and have support is really, really important. Having that ability to be able to build rapport with others so that they can help you. But at the same time as that, also having those rapport skills so that you can identify the team members that are going to be good for your team. So we often sometimes, if we're busy doing, particular tasks around our business and we want some help, we'll put an advert out and then, we'll get a person in and we'll train them and away they go. But it's really important to be able to build rapport and ensure that that person is working in line with your values, the values that you have for yourself, but also for your business. Other skills that I would say that an empire builder would need is confidence in belief in their dream. What is their why? Why have they created this particular business? But having the confidence also to go through the good times and the bad, because you're not going to reach your goals just in a heartbeat. There's lots of steps that you have to take. There's lots of mistakes that will be you'll have to overcome along the way. But having that confidence to stay in the game rather than jumping out as soon as things don't go your way. If you have enough self-belief and know what your why is and take actions to pursue your goals, then you will eventually get there. But you need to have support from others around you. You need to build that rapport. And then also, with your clients as well, with things like, other skills that are required for empire builders, sales and marketing. It's not about just getting the money. It's not about just getting the money for your business. It's about building that rapport with your key clients, knowing who your key clients are. So having a clear understanding in terms of who your avatar is so that you can talk in their language and you can communicate with them. You can offer them products in a language that they understand. And remembering that the other skill for empire builders is that just remembering that it's not about you, it's about your customers, it's about your clients and what you can do to serve them. What is their problem? So problem solving skills is another skill for empire builders. Being able to identify the problems that your key clients may have, but at the same time being able to come up with resolutions and having not just an offer for them, but an absolutely irresistible offer. Yeah, so creating an irresistible offer that they want to come to you for your business, for your service, for what you can provide, that's going to detract them from going to one of your competitors. Listening skills as well is very important, because you need to be able to listen to your team and you also need to be able to listen to your key clients.
Yeah, well, everything what you mentioned is definitely fundamentals when it comes to skills any business owner should have. However, when it comes to, where all this confidence and being able not just to self-prove, but really build up the team that is like functioning in a way that can support the business, can support client, do the all back office work and front office, when it comes from, we live in this masculine world, and when probably lots of women, maybe all women we have it in our DNA that our role is secondary. That's how, when it comes, I believe, lack of self-belief actually, and being afraid to charge as much as we deserve and our services are, for example, because without charging, we cannot really expand and grow our business and serve as many people as possible in this world, right? So as you work with a lot of women entrepreneurs, how do you help them to overcome this mindset of victim, basically the one who says, oh, how could it help it to me, how could it happen with me, to a person who says, I'm in charge of my own life and I create the opportunities by myself?
Thank you. Yes, so I do come across lots of women with that victim mindset. I was there at some point in my life, and sometimes I still go back there, but I have the tools to be able to overcome that. And so what I say to women is use your story, use your victim story to create a victor. So your story of feeling like a victim can help somebody else to overcome that and to become a victor for themselves, because it's all about the learning, it's all about the growth, it's all about allowing the universe to give you those opportunities of growth, those opportunities of challenges, and finding a way to overcome that. And by doing that, you then become the victor, the victor. But you can then use that as a story of encouragement and empowerment for other women, but also for your children. If you're a mother, for your children to be inspired by looking at how you've overcome particular challenges.
Well, I love it. And inspiring others through this, story. And maybe at some point, your story can be a guide for lots of success stories of other people.
Yes, absolutely.
Basically, my question is, are you ready to maybe share some stories, to share some? It's kind of, we have a segment in this show, a very authentic one, very truthful. It calls the unspoken truth of Queen. Because we always talk about tools, about skills, some practical things, but I think it's also important to develop the personality, the character of the person who can achieve the success, whatever you want to achieve, not just building an empire, but in any part of your life. So are you ready to share with us some kind of your stories maybe, or some ways how you were able to develop your strengths, your also overcome some weaknesses? Maybe there were some opportunities in your life that helped you to really grow where you are now today, and also some external threats, external factors that you were able to overcome. Maybe it's cultural things, maybe it's competition, maybe it's people who like haters, I don't know, whatever it is was in your life. So basically it's I use SWOT analysis, not just evaluate businesses, but personalities. That's why this segment calls the unspoken truth of the Queen, because the Queen, in the chess play, it is the major figure. This is the also leader in an empire. So, are you ready?
Yeah, it sounds like a challenge. Let's go for it.
So maybe we can start. Let's just name one or two things as you feel. Maybe we can start from strengths, like what you think the strength of your personality that helps you to really go forward, achieve what you want to achieve.
Yeah, I'd say my main strengths are that I'm very determined and also very organized. I'd say they would be my two key strengths.
It's like natural things, or you were able to develop it during the lifetime?
Well, I've always been very organized. I like to have, and this perhaps comes back from my days of trying to be a perfectionist. I always like to know what the plan is, but I've grown to be more flexible and to take much more risk. But before, I needed a lot of certainty in my life, and I've grown now to have certainty, but also to have levels of uncertainty and to allow that period of growth. It used to stifle me before in terms of my level of certainty. I know it used to stifle my husband. And he's been a major part of my growth as well, because he's also my coach as well. So that's been a great tool for me. Yeah.
That's beautiful when your husband is also your coach. But also, I think what you mentioned is very important. Like, women in general, like by nature, we want to feel like secure. That's why risk for us, it's something like, it's complete masculine energy, let's say. But in business, it is like you need to risk, but this risk should be calculated and not based on crazy emotions, the roller coaster.
Yes.
Okay. Thank you for that. So
it's different for everyone, particularly for women. Yeah. It depends on what's going on in your life at the time. I know when when we first started going into business, my risk level was very, very low, and my
Mm.
husband's was like off the scale. And I just sort of took a back seat because I just thought he was just crazy. I just let him get on with it. But I took a back seat because I wasn't comfortable with that level of risk.
Mm.
But I think it was also because my children were so young as well, and they were my priority. And I just didn't want to be putting myself in a risky position or taking more risks when my children were so young. But as they grew older, I suppose my risk taking grew as well.
It's beautiful when you have somebody who is covering your back. So, what about the weaknesses? And maybe there are some tools that helped you to turn them into strengths, or maybe you're working on at this time on something, and what really helped you.
Yeah, thank you. So weaknesses for me would include being impatient, wanting things too quickly, getting
Now, or yesterday actually.
yeah, and getting frustrated if I didn't get the result that I wanted, beating myself up because I wasn't in this perfectionist world. And so what really helped me was investing in my education, going on to various training programs that helped me look at my inner self, helped me to become much more authentic and to think more outside of just me. Because I think one of my weaknesses was I was just focused on me rather than others. So yeah, I'd say that was probably one of my biggest weaknesses, and it's something that doesn't necessarily go away 100%. It rears its ugly head from time to time, but then because I've had that education, there are tools that you learn on certain training programs that you can always fall back into, whether that be affirmations and things like that. There's always those tools that you can fall back into. But I think for people that don't invest in their continual growth and education because they think, oh, it's, I don't want to spend the money, I'd rather spend the money on something else. They're the sorts of people that tend to continue to have those challenges and find it more difficult to overcome them. And it's about that mindset shift. It doesn't matter what age you are. I'm 50 years of age, and I'm still learning, I'm still growing, and I'm still investing in my education. And I think it's really important to continue doing that all of the time.
Yeah, so can resonate with what you mentioned, this impatience and really learning how to control this kind of
Yes,
weaknesses.
yes, yeah.
So, what about opportunities? Maybe there's some kind of external, it's not like your personal traits, but some kind of external factors that helped you to develop the character and personality. I know you mentioned, like, I don't know, maybe taekwondo, maybe your teacher, or whatever story example.
Thank you. Yeah, so opportunities for my continual growth, things like taekwondo. I started that off as a hobby just to get out of the house because my children were, I was constantly bringing them to the classes and wasting an hour of my life every single Tuesday and Thursday afternoon just watching them. And I just said, well, I'm tired of this. I want to put on one of those taekwondo outfits for myself and be able to participate in the class, which is what I did. But the opportunity that it brought for me was for being able to have the courage to do that as a woman, also as an older woman, and to then take it from a hobby to then competing in national competitions and then grading and becoming a second degree black belt in my late 40s, which I would never have thought that I would have done. So that is an opportunity that presented itself. It wasn't something that I had planned. It wasn't in my vision board, but I just saw it as an opportunity because I was there with my children anyway, and I was open to moving forward with that.
Wow, that's amazing. So it's like tells that if you decided something, don't take, I don't know, age, family as an excuse, just go for that.
Yes,
Amazing. So the
exactly.
last element is external factors, basically like threats.
Yeah.
Something
Okay.
that you were able to overcome.
Right. Okay. Great question. So, if I go back to my childhood, so when I was at school, I made some very poor decisions about my education. I followed the wrong crowd. Um, focused on trying to be popular rather than focus on my education. And so I came from the sort of school, it was one of these sort of inner city urban schools where people of colour, the expectations wasn't that you would leave and go to university. If you went to college, you'd be lucky. And I overcame that by obviously leaving school with very little education, but had the right mindset and was able to go back and re-educate myself despite the odds, despite what the perceived outcome would be for people of color. Managed to get myself into a great career in human resources despite my lack of confidence at the time. But again, having that burning desire. I remember being a child and just sort of lying in bed dreaming about how my life could be, and I constantly have that dream over and over again. Didn't know how I was going to get there, but I think because I had that as a focus, an unintentional focus, the universe attracted things in my way so that I could achieve my goals. And it's just things just evolve as you go through life, so long as you're open to it and you're open to learn and you're open to making mistakes and growing from those mistakes.
Well, it's beautiful when one can find the way how to go through what was maybe developed. Many of things we actually acquire in our childhood, and it's so important to work on it. And I think, yeah, that's why we're talking about this today, the mindset and the tools, how we can basically grow further. Thank you very much, Linda, for your authenticity, for sharing with us your beautiful stories. As you mentioned, actually, when we were talking about the strengths, that your husband is your mentor in a way, and you also built one of the empires together. It's like family empire. But I think, no matter how many empires we would like to have and what kind of success we want to achieve, at the end of the day, what we want is to be happy and to have these healthy relationships. So, how do you manage two energies? It's basically a warrior energy. When you go out, you fight for expansion of your empire. And the wizard. The wizard is this feminine, beautiful energy that brings peace and just beautiful environment at home.
Yeah, that's a great question. Thank you. So I think it's really important to identify the differences between warrior and wizard. And, often when we're starting out in business, we're very much in the warrior phase because we want to achieve our goals. We want to, have a successful business. And, we'll do whatever it takes. We'll play out 100%. But having that wizard energy, that feminine energy as well is so key. And it's important to know when to go into wizard and when to come out of it, when to go into warrior, when to come out of it. And I learned that through two particular programs that I went on with a very large organization. And that helped me immensely. But the key thing for me, in terms of my female and male energies and working with my husband, building empires, is about having family as our base. So no matter what we do, our family is our base. That's our core. That's where we start and that's where we end. So everything else comes out of that. So it's not the business is the base and then we create the family. It's the family is the actual base. And so when we're planning, whatever we're doing, we have to ensure that the family is our focus. When we go out there and we've got to, I've got to create deals or get clients, I have to use both energies, both warrior and wizard, because you have to be that feminine person that builds the rapport, can communicate nicely, but then, at the point when you're going in to, perhaps make your offer and, obtain that client, you have to then go into perhaps a more of a warrior phase. So it's not a case of just being all warrior or all wizard. You have to be able to intertwine both dependent on the circumstances. So it's really key to be able to identify the differences between the two and know when to go in and when to go out of those two phases.
Yeah, that's true. There should be like foundation, and as you mentioned, family. It's so powerful when you have this foundation and build the right priorities, basically. And yes, like switching or like playing, let's say, with these energies when you need to tune in to your masculine or feminine is very important, because many times women who are playing just in this masculine energy, they have the tendency to suffer because of lack of this kind of relationships, and basically other parts of the life are falling apart. And if other parts of your life are falling apart, there is no really chance that you can build something sustainable, be focused, and have this energy of constant, let's say, creativity. And because the creativity actually comes from this wizard, from this feminine energy, and that's why it's also so important to work on it and develop it. So, as you know, I also work with like a lot of women, and what I see is many women have this burning desire to bring something into this world, a big impact, and also create their empire, become a leader. But for any reason, maybe it's fears, maybe it's limiting beliefs, whatever excuses they have, they always postpone it for better times, saying when kids will grow up or something is happening. So it's just never ending story. And I understand that not everybody is supposed to be entrepreneur, but I believe the people who are watching this show, deep inside, they have this desire to build the empire. So meaning, how can they start this kind of liberation, that I am allowing myself to start working on my project? It can be small and have the future potential. And where can they find the support? Because as you mentioned at the beginning, to have this to have this like-minded people.
Thank you. So yes, I think the people watching the show, firstly, need to give themselves permission. Give themselves permission to be creative. Give themselves permission to think about what sort of legacy is it that they want to leave behind. How long are they going to continue to have, whether we want to call it excuses or different reasons as to why they are, putting things off. And typically mothers are great at that. Like you say, I'll wait till, Johnny goes to nursery, then I'll wait till he goes to school, then I'll wait till he goes to university. Oh, now he's got grandchildren, so I've got to look after the grandchildren. And it's really, about how you want to value the time in your life, what sort of impact you can make for other people, and how many people do you want to serve? Because how great would it be to, when we all come to the end of our lives, to say, yes, this person helped so many people and they inspired so many people to do X, Y, and Z, as opposed to, oh, she was always too busy helping out, making excuses and not really living her life. And I think what stops a lot of people is really about, the fear of judgment, feeling that they're not as good as other people, and not realizing that those other people have gone through a journey themselves. They didn't just land here and become successful. It is a journey of growth. So it's about giving yourself that permission to be a much bigger version of yourself, because everyone can be, play a much bigger role than they're playing at the moment. There is no ceiling. We can just keep going on and on and on and serving and contributing. But we can only do that if we give ourselves permission to grow, permission to fail, and permission to support and serve others.
Yeah, everything starts from yourself. So thank you
Yeah.
very much, Linda, for sharing your wisdom, sharing your knowledge. And if people want to connect with you, where can they find you? Maybe what is the social media platform you use mostly? How they can find you?
Thank you. Yes, so I can be found on LinkedIn under my name, Linda Attram. I'm also on Facebook and Instagram under Mothers in Business as well.
So great. If you want to connect with Linda, you know how to do that. And as you know, we always finalize our show with a setting intention for the upcoming week. So basically, I invite all of you to set an intention or one goal. What would you like to achieve in the upcoming week? And while you're thinking about that, I would like to invite Linda to transform from an empire builder to a fortune teller. So basically, now you will see on screen 10 cards. Just pick up one number from 1 to 10, and we'll see how our viewers, or what kind of tool, or I don't know, anything, what is coming from this card, how they can achieve their goal.
Okay, so do you like me to choose a number?
Yeah.
All right, so let's go for number 1.
Wow, 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 wow. Number 1. Fixing your thoughts will impact the way you feel. The way you feel will lead you to taking actions. Taking actions will bring results. What the results will be, positive or negative, are up to you. Remember, everything started with the thoughts. So basically, what we were talking about today is our mindset. And Linda gave so many tools and so many inspiration how you can start developing your mindset of an empire builder. Thank you very much, Linda, for being here today with us.
Thank you. It's been a pleasure to be on your show. I've really enjoyed the interview. Thank you.
I hope you enjoyed this episode and get some inspiration and knowledge that can help to bring you closer in building your empire.